Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal, and sitting next to me in a blue shirt and matching khakis to the khakis that I'm wearing is Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing well.
That's like his uniform.
That is Jeff's uniform. Khakis, a t-shirt, maybe a fleece, zip-up fleece.
I think we're all kind of like cartoon characters where we have our various wardrobes.
Yeah, a lot of people have told me I'm like the dancing baby from the internet. I'm just always in a diaper and nothing else.
Yeah, I don't appreciate it.
But I know, but it's hot.
Especially when it's soiled.
Well, I mean, look, you got to do what you got to do. That's what the diaper's there for, right?
These recordings get long
for
sometimes.
this week.
They do. And that's Matt over there. And, we said it on a Patreon bonus, but we're just going to keep saying it today. Happy birthday, Matt.
Oh, thanks. It is still my birthday several months later.
It is. And Macho Man. So you share a birthday with Macho Man. How does that make you feel?
A little savage, to be honest.
There you go. Thank you everyone for joining us. We have two very special guests with us today. Both are Patreon subscribers, and we appreciate their support. First, we're going to introduce a contestant. She will be partnering with Matt today, and she's actually coming to us from the Netherlands and has an extra cool fact to tell us about, and that is Melanie Collins van Burkl. How are you today, Melly?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, so I live in this small village called Zundert, which is the geboorteplaats, or birthplace of Vincent van Gogh.
Wow.
The church that his dad preached in is still standing, and the grave of his older brother is still there, who's also named Vincent.
Oh, so that's not confusing for parents.
Yeah, no.
The George Foreman method.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And Melly, you actually aren't originally from the Netherlands, is that right?
No, I was born and bred in Texas and got out of there probably about 2005 and then moved here in 2012.
Wonderful.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us and for playing today and also for your Patreon support.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
And we are too, and I love the Dalek poster behind you that the listeners can't see, but always appreciate a Doctor Who reference. Our special guest host today is an Oakland 5 supporter on Patreon. We appreciate it, and dare I say, might be wearing one of the top 5 shirts I've ever seen on Triviality, and that is Connell Wortman. How's it going, Connell?
I'm good, guys. Thank you for having me. I am wearing a lemon shirt today, and as I said earlier, I'm wearing it because I am always sour.
All right. Us too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
especially me.
In here.
All right.
Please don't look that
It
up.
only took 4 seconds.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Connell?
Sure. I am living in Los Angeles right now, working as a graphic designer. And just to add fire to the terrible year that we've all had, I broke my arm in January and have just started to get the use of my right hand all the way back.
Oh, no. I hope you're okay.
It was a freak dodgeball accident.
You didn't dodge the wrench, did you?
It was actually the car, but self-inflicted dodgeball injury is the category.
Wow. Well, I think quarantine has been doing that to a lot of folks. I'm finally getting over my concussion. You're getting over your broken hand. And everyone else is just broken spirits, I think, right?
Yeah,
Here?
yeah,
Okay.
my spirit is completely shattered.
There you go. Connell, thank you for joining us and also for hosting today. We're excited to give you the keys to drive. But before we do that, of course, we have to listen to the rules. And I think because someone from the Netherlands is here, I think we know which one that's going to be.
Yep.
De regels van het spel zijn simpel. 20 vragen verdeeld over 2 rondes, waarbij elke vraag 10 punten waard is. Halverwege is er een speciale swingronde, ontworpen door de host van deze week. Na deze rondes beginnen de spelers aan de finale, met de punten die ze hebben verdiend. En hebben ze de mogelijkheid om 0 tot 30 punten in te zetten op 5 gecategoriseerde vragen. Aan het eind van het spel wordt iemand benoemd tot the cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop.
Now, did you understand all of that, Melly?
Got it perfectly.
Okay. All right, good. I think Jeff and Ken, you're going to play, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. And anything on the team name here today?
Well, I have a great team name for me and Melly.
What is that, Matt?
So Melly, in the birthplace of Van Gogh, and this is what I've been spending all my time on during quarantine. We're going to be Pokemon Van Gogh.
So, of course, we've been watching the Queen's Gambit lately. It's around that time when it recently came out, not 2 months from now. But what do you say we're the King's Gambit?
All right, I can get on board with that.
All right.
All right.
Which I don't think is a chess move.
No.
I don't think so, but it should be. So we have the King's Gambit versus Pokemon Van Gogh. I'm just going to be here for color commentary and hugs. And let's throw it to Connell to take it away.
All right. So I do not have a name for this game, but here we go. Question 1, category is a little bit of you. Famous German Lou Bega is best known for his appreciation of women in Mambo No. 5. How many different women does he mention in the song?
I can confirm this was a song Matt played on repeat when it came out.
Okay, I did a quick tally here, and I think we've come to a answer.
Okay. So we were kind of going through some of the names, I think maybe Sandra was in the Sun. Somebody was All Night Long. I don't know. But we were kind of between 8 and 9. And do you have kind of a strong inkling either way?
Let's go with 8.
Okay. We are going to settle with 8.
Okay. So we also got to 8 from the chorus, but there is another part in the song where he mentions another group of ladies. And we counted 4 in that other part. So we're adding that together and getting 12, assuming that we're counting you as one of the ladies. Otherwise, it's 11. And I as the you, am a man. So, but we're going to say 12, including you.
9 ladies. Lou Bega celebrates 9 ladies. Their names are Angela, Pamela, Sandra, Rita, Monica, Erica, Tina, Mary, and Jessica.
I think in that chorus there's some repeats.
Yeah.
I wonder.
There
I know
is.
there was a Bob the Builder version of Mambo No. 5, but I don't know if there were people's names in it. I don't know why I know that. I just know.
Wasn't he naming like girders?
Probably.
All right. Question number 2, category, You're Not My Real Dad. Lyndon B. Johnson decided that dads were worth celebrating with a presidential decree. But which president signed the day into law?
Okay, we have a rough guess on this one.
Okay. So we talked about it. And then Melanie, you had a pretty strong inkling right away. Who did you think it was?
I think I remember hearing about Nixon being the one to sign it into law because there was such a huge span in between when Mother's Day became a holiday and when Father's Day did.
Yeah, and to brush a little bit of some of the heat off him a little bit, and go into Father's Day. So we're saying Nixon.
Yep, us too. We are just assuming it's the president that followed Johnson and saying Nixon.
All right. Points for both teams. Tricky Dick is the correct answer. Richard Nixon loves dads. All right. Question 3, category Ratatouille. Fresh chef and restaurateur Joel Robuchon was named Chef of the Century by Galt Malau in 1989. He had 23 restaurants across the globe and to this day has the world record of Michelin stars, including one he earned posthumously. How many did he have to set the world record in a range of plus or minus 3?
Does it go up to 3 Michelin stars?
Yeah, it could be 3 Michelin stars per.
They tend to, even really good restaurants tend to be like 1 or 2 Michelin stars, though.
Yeah.
Like very rarely do you get a 3.
Yeah. This is a straight up guess. So you want to say 20, 30.
Somewhere in the mid 30s.
2
Yeah.
Michelin stars. 32 Michelin stars.
Sure.
Okay.
So we know that the most you can get is 3 Michelin stars. He had 23 restaurants. My thinking is that probably not all of them had 1, but there's probably some that had 2 and a few that had 3. So I would think somewhere around like 1.3 per restaurant, something like that. Does that make sense?
It's very mathematical.
It does.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it's somewhere around like 30, somewhere in that range. And 30 gives us the 33 to 27, which I like. It's kind of a nice number.
All right. We were pretty much on your exact same logic, but we just said 32.
All right. Hitting the nail on the head with 32 is Queen's Gambit.
You
but
kidding me?
Pokemon Van Gogh gets points.
All right.
How did that happen? That's crazy.
I worked when I was working at Michael Jordan's restaurant. One of the managers there worked at a restaurant that had a Michelin star, and she just said it was the standard of everything there is just so crazy just to earn that 1 star. It's outrageous, like the kind of stuff they have to do. So to have that many is so amazing.
I forget what movie, if it's a movie or TV show where they're waiting for the Michelin star per certifier or whatever to come, and they always said it was like the same thing. They would order a glass of water, they would order, I think, like 1 app and 1 entree, and then they would always drop their fork on the ground to see how quickly a waiter would pick it up and give you a new one.
Yeah, they like check the temperature of the water and everything. It's crazy.
Consistency is key for those things. You can lose them just like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Question number 4. Category: Whose House? Beloved Full House character Jesse Katsopoulos was part of a band called Jesse and the Rippers. However, Katsopoulos was not his original last name in the first season. What was it?
Locked in.
Ooh, putting it on these
Sorry,
guys.
Melly. When it's Full House.
If you feel thunder, go for it.
Yeah.
I have no idea on this one.
I don't remember.
He was actually their uncle, right?
Yes, because the mom that had died, that was his sister.
Okay, so maybe we could assume that they made a mistake and they retconned it and just say his last name was Tanner.
Okay.
All right, that's the best I can do. Otherwise, it's a straight guess. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Jesse's original last name was Matt. Would you like to take it?
I will take it. He was a Jesse Cochran.
Jesse Cochran is correct.
Really?
Yeah.
He was Jesse Cochran, and before that, he was Hermes Cochran, and that also got taken out.
If the last name doesn't fit, you must acquit.
You're telling me that the writer's room was like, all right, we have John Stamos, a gorgeous Greek actor. Let's name him Hermes after the Greek god. Why not? Just so everyone knows he's Greek.
Hermes Kostopoulos might be the most Greek name possible, though.
Right behind feta shawarma, but I digress. All right. Question number 5. Category is white lightning. When making moonshine, to test the purity of the alcohol, moonshiners light the brew on fire. What color would the fire be to denote its safety to drink?
I've seen alcohol on fire before, and I think I know what color that flame is. Okay, we're locked in.
Wow.
Same. I think we can do the same.
Ooh.
All right. I'll let you take it away then, Melly. What is it?
I believe it's blue.
Yep, I think it's blue as well.
Blue is the correct answer.
It'd be cool if it was green, though, right?
It'd be more magical.
That tends to mean other stuff's gotten mixed in.
Yeah.
I thought...
Have you guys ever had a flaming drink?
No.
I haven't. No, have you?
Oh, yeah.
Come on,
I
of course.
would make flaming Dr. Peppers back in the day. And you take a little bit of amaretto and layer some 150 proof, I think it has to be, alcohol on top. Let it on
and
fire,
then you
drop it in a
sprinkle
beer.
the dust from some flaming Cheetos.
Yeah. It's good, though. I mean, it tastes just like Dr. Pepper after you drop it in the beer. It's weird. Very good, though.
That is a great endorsement by the co-host that we call White Lightning here at Triviality. And that brings us to our first score update after 5 questions, which has the King's Gambit with 30 points and Pokemon Van Gogh with 40 points.
Jumping into question number 6, the category is In Memory of Alex Trebek. So I'm doing a spin on a classic Jeopardy before and after, where I'm going to give you the 2 quick plots of movies, and then you have to combine them for the before and after title. So Here we go. Steve Carell and Dane Cook go to a family reunion where he falls in love with young rebel Judith. And at the end, they are serenaded with Always Look on the Bright Side of Life.
All right, we're locked in.
You guys are locked in. Okay. So Melly did know that the last one is Life of Brian. So now we're trying to think of the Steve Carell and Dane Cook movie that would either lead into it or lead out of it. And
this is a very deep cut movie, too, I think.
I was like 40-year-old virgin Life of Brian, which is a different movie.
I mean, other than the 40-year-old virgin, the one with him and Tina Fey. And he was in Evan Almighty, not Bruce Almighty.
That's the one, yeah. So we know that.
Yeah, I mean, date
that
night.
doesn't help.
Yeah. I seriously think it's something like Greek life or something like that. I remember there was a smattering of 2000s movies that were all about Greek life.
Yeah. Okay. We can say then we'll lock in with Greek Life of Brian.
Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is a fairly deep cut Steve Carell movie. Oft forgot because it wasn't that good. But we're saying Dan in Real Life of Brian.
Wow.
All right. Points for King's Gambit and offense to me because I love Dan in real life.
Ooh.
Sorry.
So we got.
I haven't seen it in a long time, to be fair. I just remember Steve Carell being depressed through the entire movie. And me and my friend, when we watched it, we said basically anytime he left frame, you would just hear like a gunshot off screen.
Now, Connell,
Is that accurate?
What's the song that he plays on guitar? Because it was in all the trailers, and I think it's like throughout.
It is the Let My Love Open the Door.
That's it. Yeah.
Song.
I remember that was in like every trailer, and then when I saw the movie, he was playing it.
Townsend song
Yeah.
Okay.
by himself. No who.
And I feel like Team Pokemon Van Gogh, I think you still have Stamos on the brain there with Greek Life of Brian.
Can you blame us?
No, you
Yeah.
can't. I can't. I mean, hey, John Stamos and Rob Lowe don't age, so I mean, I get it.
Question number 7, category She Knows Keanu. The world's most notable immortal, Queen Elizabeth II, was crowned Queen of the United Kingdom at age 27. What year does she claim to have been born in?
We're going to go ahead and do a quick lock-in on this one. I think Jeff has a pretty good read.
All right. So Mel, you said she was crowned in 1952?
Yeah.
Okay. So then if you subtract 27, we get to 1925. Is that right? Did I do that right?
Yeah, so she would be 25. She would be born in 1925.
Okay. So we're locking in with 1925.
And we have the exact same reasoning and the exact same answer.
Unfortunately, you guys are off by 1. 1926 is the correct answer.
Ooh, tough
Same.
loss there, guys.
All right. Question number 8. Category is Nidoran. Pokemon is the biggest selling media franchise in the world, earning over $90 billion. With the video game series being the second best of all time, only behind Mario. The entire series has 139 games. How many of them are in the main gotta catch 'em all style in a range of plus or minus 3?
Okay, so this one's all on me. I'm going through the gens. I believe there's red, blue, yellow, silver, gold, and then another one, I think. And then there's diamond, pearl, platinum, black and white 2. Then the Sun and Moon, and then there's Sun and Moon sequels, and then there's Sword and Shield. So you have 3, 6, 9, 12,
Matt,
14,
you're
16,
sick.
18, 20. What's up?
You're
I know.
sick.
I'm thinking that there are 24 mainland games, is what I'm going to guess.
We went a little higher. We said 34.
All right. We have points for King's Gambit.
Ah,
The answer is 32. Matt, I think you missed a few. There's the green version, which was Japan only. And then there was the heart, gold, and silver, and the
I didn't count
extra
the remakes.
sapphires.
You're
like
right.
that.
Yeah.
Just like Captain Planet,
and-
you forgot Heart.
Fire red and leaf green and all those.
Oh, I was going to say, just fun little fact. Nidoran is the 32nd Pokemon. So category name is in there.
We're going to be the Nida King's Gambit after this.
I love when when someone explains like the entirety of their answer that's very, very correct, and then you guys just 32.
We'll just toss 34 out there.
All right. Question number 9. Category is test tube, baby. Not to be confused with the guy who spliced pea pods. Who was the father of the modern day periodic table of elements?
We can lock that in.
Awesome.
Ooh.
I think I know it, but I'm happy you do know it.
All right, so these guys are locked in. Gregor Mendel was
the guy who played with
Peapod guy.
Peapods, and Mendeleev is the
so
guy who had the
chemical
periodic
check.
table.
Yep.
Yep. So we'll go Mendeleev.
Yep, that's what I've got too. Dmitry Mendeleev.
Points all around.
His story's pretty crazy when he fled Russia. It's an interesting autobiography or
Yep.
biography if you ever get into it.
I will definitely not read that.
Kind of figured.
Maybe I'll read the Wikipedia page.
All right. Last question of the round. Category is filicide. Presumably tired of him getting it on, which American singer was killed by his father on an unfortunate April Fool's Day?
That's sad, but we are locked in.
I'm pretty sure this is Marvin Gaye.
Yep, we also had Marvin Gaye.
Again, points all around. He intervened in a fight between his parents, and then his father killed him with the gun that Marvin got him for his birthday.
Oh,
What a bummer.
you're bringing the
Hey,
Jeff energy today.
Matt,
April Fools.
Matt, make sure you don't kill me with the gun that I bought you for your birthday.
That would be impressive.
my best.
Because that would be one hell of a Nerf gun.
Looks like after the first round here, the scores are still close, as Ken alluded to earlier. We have the King's Gambit with a slight lead of 80 points and Pokemon Van Gogh with 60 points. So before we throw it to Connell for the swing round, just wanted to mention if you'd like to join us on social media, you can go to @TrivialityPod on Twitter and Instagram. You can see some fun posts from Matt and his apartment, new episode announcements, things like that. Or you can join us over at The Crop on Facebook and talk with fellow listeners. And then brand new, you can go to our Discord. So there's a new Discord we started for people who maybe want a different option than Facebook. And we will say that we are transitioning to Discord to record our episode. So if you'd like to be on the show, make sure to create a Discord account. And when the time comes, we can call upon you and meet you over Discord. So
join Discord if you want to ditch the Zuck.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, that's a good phrase there. Save Ferris,
Ditch the Zuck. It's
Yeah.
hard to say though.
It is
It's
actually
not a good catchphrase at all.
not great marketing, but we're workshopping it.
But as we go into the swing round, I just want to mention we would be tied if not for our freak luck in the number guesses. But let's hear about the swing round.
All right. To segue off of our downer of a last question, this round is called Killed the Vibe. It is a round all about world famous or infamous serial killers. So I'm going to read you a quick synopsis of their horrific exploits, and then you give me their name or I guess their more popular media name, unless it is in the question itself.
Okay.
So,
Sounds good.
all right. Question number 1. This killer tormented Whitechapel between 1888 and 1891. He killed 5 prostitutes and was never caught. Some people believe he was from hell.
Jeff.
Question. Yes, it was Jeff. Question number 2. This killer operated in the Chicago neighborhood of Cook County between 1972 and 1978. He killed at least 33 boys and became known as the Killer Clown after he was caught. Question number 3. This killer started young by murdering his grandparents, for which he was locked away until his 21st birthday. After he got out, he moved in with his mother, who worked at USC Santa Cruz. There, he killed 6 co-eds. After his arrest, he narrated books on tape in jail. Question number 4. This killer operated in Milwaukee between 1978 and 1991. He killed 17 men and boys, many of which he ate, several of which he attempted to turn into zombies by drilling holes in their heads and injecting acid. Question number 5. This killer operated in Northern California from 1968 to 1969. He killed 5 young men and women and injured 2 more. In a series of letters with cryptograms to the police, he claimed to have a body count of 37. He was never caught. Question number 6. While technically not a serial killer, he operated in Plainfield, Wisconsin from 1954 to 1957. He killed 2 local business-owning women and possibly his own brother. He gained national attention after the press found that he robbed graves to craft trophies and clothes from human skin and bones. Question number 7. This killer operated across the continental United States between 1961 and 1978. He killed 30-plus women and kept some of their heads as trophies. A lifelong Republican, he worked at a suicide hotline, drove a Volkswagen Beetle, and escaped custody twice. Question number 8. This killer operated in Chicago from 1891 to 1894. He was known as the Devil in the White City and built a hotel specifically for murdering travelers. During the 1893 World's Fair, he used his hotel to allegedly kill over 200 victims. He would then sell the bodies to medical schools. Question number 9. Known as the highway hooker, this killer operated along the Florida highways from 1989 to 1990. She killed 7 men with a revolver and claimed all the murders were in self-defense. Question number 10. This killer operated in Sedgwick County, Kansas from 1974 to 1991. He had 10 victims, including an entire family. He would stalk his victims, break into their homes to wait for them, then tie them up and torture them to death. He used a church computer to taunt the police, which led directly to his arrest.
Okay, now that we're all in a good mood, let's take a quick break and figure out these answers. All right, we've all talked about serial killers for the last 10 minutes, and now I think we are ready to give our answers.
All right. Question number 1. This killer tormented Whitechapel between 1888 and 1891. He killed 5 prostitutes and was never caught.
I heard that was possibly me, although I don't think that's true. I'm a fan of a show that ran, I think it was a BBC show called Whitechapel, and that's all centered around Jack the Ripper. So we said Jack the Ripper.
Mm-hmm. Also went with Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper is the correct answer. Question number 2. This killer operated in Chicago between 1972 and 1978. He killed at least 33 boys and became known as the Killer Clown after he was caught.
And that is John Wayne Gacy Jr., also known as Pogo.
And that's what we have as well, John Wayne Gacy.
And that is correct. Question number 3. This killer started by murdering his grandparents. After he got out of jail, he moved in with his mother, who worked at USC Santa Cruz, where he killed 6 co-eds.
This was the toughest one for us, but I believe I was able to pull it because of Mindhunter, and I think this is Ed Kemper.
You mentioning Mindhunter reassures me that we are correct then, because we also said Kemper.
Ed Kemper, or the co-ed killer, is correct, and he is a giant man at 6'9", 300-something pounds.
It's very scary in the show, for sure.
He is. Question number 4. This killer operated in Milwaukee between 1978 and 1991. He killed 17 men and boys, many of which he ate. Several he attempted to turn into zombies.
Yeah, unfortunately, as soon as you said Milwaukee and the years, we happen to know that is the notorious reputation of Jeffrey Dahmer. So that's what we locked in with.
Yeah, and I just got finished listening to a podcast about Jeffrey Dahmer. So we got that one as well.
Yep, Jeffrey Dahmer is correct. Question number 5. This killer operated in Northern California from 1968 to 1969. He killed 5 young men and women and injured 2 more. In a series of letters with cryptograms to the police, he claimed to have a body count of 37.
And this is possibly Drew Carey's brother. If you've ever seen the movie Zodiac, so we're saying Zodiac Killer.
I always thought it was Ted Cruz, but yeah, Zodiac Killer.
Ted Cruz, the Zodiac Killer is correct. Question number 6. While technically not a serial killer, he operated in Plainfield, Wisconsin from 1904 to 1957. He killed 2 local business-owning women and possibly his own brother.
Given the years and the propensity to do very disgusting things with the deceased, we guessed Ed Gein.
And that's pretty much what we had. We couldn't think of any Midwest killers, but that one just popped up.
Ed Gein is correct. And from his dark deeds, he captured the imagination of a lot of media. There's a lot of characters that are based off of him.
Yeah, and if any of you...
Was Hannibal partially based on some of Ed Gein?
Yeah, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like Ed Gein, a lot of the horror villains are, but Hannibal might be a little bit, yeah.
Buffalo Bill is based off of him.
That's right, Buffalo Bill, yeah.
Just shout out to a friend of mine, Chuck Perello. He did a movie with Steve Railsback called Ed Gein. It's a fun independent movie if you want to check it out.
Coolio. Question number 7. This killer operated across the continental United States between 1961 and 1978. He killed 30 plus women and kept some of their heads as trophies.
Yeah, this one we were a little less sure about, but I think you said something about him working as a suicide hotline operator, and I think that was Ted Bundy.
Oh. Yeah, we had no idea, so we actually just guessed Ed Gein for both of these, hoping that one was right. So we already used that bullet.
Ted Bundy is the correct answer. He also had a yellow Volkswagen Beetle and was a Republican. So there you go.
Correlation?
Yeah, Volkswagen Beetle and Republican equals serial killer. Number 8, this killer operated in Chicago from 1891 to 1894. He was known as the Devil in the White City and built a hotel specifically for murdering travelers.
Yeah, probably the second most famous Holmes of the late 19th century. We said H.H. Holmes.
And I believe Leonardo DiCaprio is still working on his mustache for this role.
Yeah,
which should come eventually, right?
It's already been like a decade, so hopefully it'll come at some point.
And the role of the mustache.
Both.
Okay, so we also had H.H. Holmes.
All right, points all around.
This is your favorite hotel, right, Jeff?
He often summers there.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jeff likes to call it his little modest scare B&B, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite hotel. My favorite motel, of course, Bates. So
His home's away from home.
You could do a home inspection show with the home inspector Holmes on Holmes' Holmes.
Now that should be a T-shirt right there.
All right. Question 9. Known as the highway hooker, this killer operated along the Florida highways from 1989 to 1990. She killed 7 men with a revolver and claimed all the murders were in self-defense.
we believe this is the monster who inspired the film Monster. And we said Eileen Wuornos.
We also said Eileen Wuornos.
Indeed, it is Eileen Wuornos. Number 10. This killer operated in Sedgwick County, Kansas from 1974 to 1991. He had 10 victims, including an entire family. He would stalk his victims, break into their homes to wait for them, and then tie them up and torture them to death.
All right. This one is also text shorthand for Bring the Kool-Aid, but I believe this is the BTK killer.
Oh, I thought BTK was Neal's favorite Korean boy band.
Unbelievably, we guessed total guess on this one because we couldn't think of any more Midwestern killers and said BTK.
BTK, or Dennis Rader, as his first name is unfortunately made, is correct. So good job, guys.
You know, if I listened to that whole last question, I would have got it. I completely missed the entire part about tying them up, and we're like, who could that be? Oh.
Bacon, taro, and kimchi sandwich.
Now that's a night.
Well, that's enough about serial killers, and I'm not just talking about Jeff voraciously eating his Fruit Loops. Let's move on to the second round after the score update.
Yes, thank you, Ken. Well, it looks like Team King's Gambit batted perfect in that round.
You didn't have to point out how disgusting we are.
So, yes, you got 50 points there, bringing your total to 130. And Team Pokemon Van Gogh only missed one, giving them 45 points and bringing their total to 105.
All right. We're going to try and lighten the mood a bit now. Jumping into question 11. Category is Bat Got Your Tongue? In 1945, the Chicago Cubs basked in the first World Series since the end of World War II, although the games didn't take place in a particularly exotic locale. What team did they play against?
We can lock in.
I'm not picking up on any of the hints in this question. Are you?
They didn't bask in any particularly... What locale?
It wasn't an exotic locale, he said.
I'm trying to think of maybe the opposite of exotic.
Tigers?
Detroit Tigers? It could be the Detroit Tigers.
All right, let's go with Detroit Tigers.
God, I hate when you do that. Yeah, it's the Detroit Tigers.
It's an exotic animal.
Joe Exotic.
Exactly. Detroit Tigers is correct, if you can believe that came out this year. Detroit Tigers is correct. All right. Question number 12. Glove full of Vaseline.
That was Neal's college nickname.
That was.
You got to keep your hands soft for your wife.
And his and his eventual media serial killer name.
What is it, a glove full of Vaseline? Okay. I've been down that road once or twice. I have dry skin. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Question 12. Which American classic was made into a Broadway play starring James Franco and Chris O'Dowd as two dusty bunny lovers?
Catcher in the Rye is the one with Lenny, right?
That's the one with Holden Caulfield.
And Lenny, yeah? No?
Oh, wait, is that the one where the two boys? Does the one boy end up murdering the other one?
Isn't the one? What's the one where Lenny kills the bunny? You know what I'm talking about?
I wish I did.
John Malkovich. What's the other book? So there's a book where Lenny kills a bunny, right?
Okay.
And then the guy kills him. I didn't have to read it in high school. That's why I'm like vaguely. Is it Catcher in the Rye?
You're
thinking about your
I was like,
Spark
Catcher in the
Notes.
Rye was never assigned to me, so I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's Catcher in the Rye.
Okay.
And we're gonna go with Of Mice and Men.
That's the one.
Because
Damn.
Lenny kills the bunny.
Now,
So I said to
And then
Jeff,
Squidgy kills Lenny.
I described that whole scene to Jeff, and I said there were two books I didn't have to read in high school that everybody else had to read, and one of them was Catcher in the Rye, and I couldn't remember the other one. Yeah,
I also have never read Of Mice and Men.
Yeah, I know. We were in the same English classes. That's the problem.
Of Mice and Men is correct. It's pretty dark, so maybe you're lucky that your little high school brain didn't have to take it in.
Yeah, no, I could name a few other books that I read that were super dark. So
Now, Matt, what do you think of the band Of Mice and Men?
I'm a fan. It has the guitars from Attack, I believe.
You like the crab
Oh,
core?
Stickly?
Yeah, 100%.
I
Good
thought
band.
he did kill the bunny, but I think the reason he was murdered is because he killed a person on accident because he didn't know his own strength, right?
Well, I don't know. I've never read it or seen the John Malkovich movie.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was because John Malkovich, well, he didn't talk in the movie, but if he did, he would have said, "What, Ken? I killed the bunny on accident." No, it was Gary Sinise. But no, I was going to say, when I was in New York with my friend Phil at one point, we had gone to Times Square near Broadway, and we knew all the shows were getting out, and there's a lot of celebrities at that time, like doing shows. So we went to Hedwig and the Angry Inch, saw Neil Patrick Harris signing autographs, like pretty close to him, and then we walked right around the corner, and then James Franco and Chris O'Dowd came out. And we're meeting fans. We just kind of did that for like an hour and looped around. It was kind of fun.
So was James Franco Lenny?
He was Gary Sinise's character.
He was George.
George, yeah.
And Chris O'Dowd was Lenny?
Yeah.
Chris O'Dowd was Lenny.
I would swap those two.
I think he wore lifts too, so he was a lot taller too, Chris O'Dowd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of Mice and Men is correct. And yeah, in the end of the book, Lenny murders a girl because he doesn't know his own strength, and so George has to do the world a favor.
I see.
And that's according to the book, though, is what you're saying, not your own personal opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes at the gym, Jeff doesn't know his own strength, and he does 100 pull-ups in a row.
Not these days,
Like,
but
stop.
I heard Will Smith actually fashioned his scene in I Am Legend after you, doing all the pull-ups.
Question number 13, category is, she was a giraffe. Mata Hari was one of the first famous female spies. In World War I, she was convicted of espionage and executed, so she must not have been that good. What country was she working for?
All right, Jeff and I are going to go ahead and lock in here. I've heard about her on a podcast. I also saw a piece on her on Drunk History once. So I think it's a little bit twisty in that she was supposed to be spying for Germany on France, but France got a hold of her. So she was actually spying for France on Germany. So she was like a double spy, but she was ultimately put to death by the French because they needed a fall guy for something or something weird. So I think she was spying for France.
Yeah. What did we talk about, Melanie? I think that's similar.
We had France. Yeah, I believe I remember hearing that she was almost like Nina Simone did in World War II. She would be singing in the clubs and she would lure them in and kill them. So she was working for France.
Well, she was a nightclub dancer seductress, but she was working for Germany.
So it sounds like your story details were pretty close on both ends.
Except for the correct answer.
Well, can't have them all.
Question number 14, category where no man has gone before. At about 14 billion miles away, what man-made object is farthest from Earth?
How far away was it?
14 billion
about
miles.
14 billion miles.
Billion. Wow. Because I was like, probably the Mars Land Rover, but that's.
I was thinking Voyager 2. because
Yeah.
it passed out of the
Oh, it made it out of the solar system, right?
yeah, it made it out of the envelope that surrounds the
Uh-huh.
solar system. I think it made it into the Oort cloud.
Yeah, and it's still going, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if they're getting data back from it still or not.
It's just gone now. Yeah, I think that sounds good. I think we can definitely lock in with Voyager 2.
I think one of my favorite things about Voyager 2 is every like 3 or 4 years they tell us it's left the solar system again, because then they just come up with a new, like, oh, it's left this part of the solar system, it's left this part of the solar system, and I think they are right that it's in the Oort cloud, and we said Voyager 2.
Well, the funny thing about Voyager 2 is that it actually launched first on a different trajectory, and Voyager 1 is further away from Earth than Voyager 2.
Even though it's non-operational, right?
Yeah, I think the JPL has a website for both of them, and they still have distance counters ticking up every second, but I don't know if it's actual data or if it's just an algorithm where they're like, all right, it should be this far away now.
Yeah.
But
That's somewhat obvious after you hear the answer.
Yeah. The sequel's never better. That was our problem.
all right. Question 15, category My Shears Are Sharp. Can you believe that before Jonathan Van Ness achieved international fame as the grooming expert on Queer Eye, he was going viral in a Funny or Die series where he recapped an HBO show? What was that show? And for a bonus point, what was the name of Jonathan's series?
I don't know on both accounts.
Wait.
He's
Van
the
Ness.
long hair with the Jesus looking
Yeah,
guy.
it's not Boardwalk Empire.
Henny.
Boardwalk Empire.
Are there any
Van
HBO
Ness,
shows
Elliot
that
Van
are
Ness.
specifically like gay oriented?
So it wouldn't be like Sex in the City old. That was HBO, wasn't it?
Oh, it's totally that. It's totally that. So we're gonna go ahead and lock in with Sex and the City.
Where a lot of Sex in the City occurred.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at first they said Game of Thrones, but it had to be much earlier than that because Funny or Die peak was really that early to mid 2000s. So, Melly, which shows do you think were big around that time?
Well, of course, Sex in the City. On that, that's about all I can think of.
Yeah,
Because I
and
didn't really watch HBO.
yeah, and it would make sense for him to do a show like that. So we said Sex in the City, and we said for the bonus point, Mess in the City was a show. We don't know though.
I can chime in, Connell, if that's okay.
Please do.
So a couple teams had said it, I think, and when you hear it, it makes sense. But I believe it was for Game of Thrones, which Jeff forgot to mention until the end of their conversation. And I believe the name of it was Gay of Thrones.
Oh, I
That
had
is
seen
correct.
that. I forgot about that.
Wow.
So everybody knows Funny or Die because of Baby Landlord, whatever it was actually called. And that was definitely its peak, but, you know, it stuck around. And that's where Jonathan got his start.
Forgot about that.
I
didn't know.
I did a short film that I put on not Game of Thrones, on Funny or Die early on when it first started. And when it first started, if you put a short film on there, people could rate it good or bad, and there was like a ticker. And so it would be like if it was funny, it would go to funny. If it was bad, it would go to die. And I put a short up there, and I remember the only 2 comments I got, and it's kind of stuck a little bit towards funny, was "This is sick," and "Why would you make this?"
I'll be requesting a screening later.
Okay, I'll show you
What
later.
was the title of that short film, please?
It was Family Tree Contraceptives. So there you go. I'm surprised that I remembered it, but yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
All right.
So let's get that. Let's get that needle far into the funny category.
And Matt, a little since it is your birthday, a little callback. The manager that we shared at the coffee establishment was in that short film.
Oh no!
Yeah. Sorry.
Full chest tattoo on display, I'm sure.
Yes. All right. Well, after 5 questions in the second round, our scores are just incrementally larger. The King's Gambit with 140 and Pokemon Van Gogh with 125.
Then we're going to jump into question 16. Category is Rosemary's Baby. Doom is the game that started the first-person shooter craze back in 1993. And in September of this year, an internet user was able to get it to run on what drugstore health product?
I think I remember this.
All right, then this one's on you.
Okay, we can lock in.
So you said contraceptives, but is it on a pregnancy test, like a computerized pregnancy test?
Oh, that would be ridiculous.
Or what else
like
you got? Diabetes.
Yeah, I would say like a
health
blood
monitor.
Yeah, like a blood glucose monitor.
But when I think of that's more techie, you know. So when I think of a drugstore product, I think it's a pregnancy test. Just using the computing power of the pregnancy
That's
test
really
to
funny.
run it. Let's go with it.
I've been using the BFG on a pregnancy test. Locking it with pregnancy test.
Pregnancy test is the correct answer. They got that tiny little digital screen, and there's very little positive space. It's all negative space except for the walls. So it's
I think it's
quite a
only
technical
positive
feat.
space 50% of the time.
Now, you don't want to speed run it on a pregnancy test, is what you're saying. Gotcha.
All right. Question 17. Category is the greatest nation. In 1942, Private Wojtek joined the Polish army as they were evacuating the Eastern Front. After his unit merged with part of the British forces in Italy, he earned fame at the Battle of Monte Cassino for moving incredibly heavy boxes of ammunition with his bare hands. He retired at the rank of corporal and spent the rest of his days in Scotland. What was Corporal Wojtek?
So I'm listening to this question, and then the actual question part comes, and I'm just completely thrown for a loop.
I actually know this, though, so we can lock in.
Is it a gorilla? I thought it was a man, the whole question, and then he
no
says,
idea.
what was he? World War II, so no, not a machine. He said bare hands, so it has to be some kind of animal with hands, right? So a gorilla?
I've never felt more lost.
I don't
in
think
my
a
entire
monkey
life.
could. A chimp?
Not picking up more than a human, right?
A chimp probably could.
If he's doing your pull-ups, you might be able to.
A gorilla definitely could. But I don't.
A baboon.
A baboon could not lift more than a human, I think. Rip your face off, yes. I would say a gorilla, even though having a gorilla on the front lines is a little hazardous.
I would love to tell you that I've heard dumber things that have been done in history, but
All right, we're going to say it's a gorilla.
You're going to be mad at yourself. So if he was in the U.S. Army, he would have the right to use his bare arms, but he's using his bare hands. It's a bear.
Yep. Corporal Wojtek was a bear. He saw some soldiers lifting ammunition boxes, and he was just like, I'm going to do what they're doing. And he picked up the ammo and got promoted.
Did he have a first name, or was he just known as Wojtek?
No, he was just known as Wojtek. So the
Which
soldiers
means bear in
rescued him
Polish.
from Iran, I think, as they were evacuating. And they fed him beer and cigarettes, and they were just like, all right, he's a soldier now.
Oh, wow.
Just one of the boys.
Question 18, category is pharaohs. Camp, Because the Internet, and Awaken My Love are 3 albums from what multi-talented artist?
We're
Locked in. Yep.
ooh, in harmony too.
Childish Gambino, Donald Glover.
I was listening to Camp yesterday, Childish Gambino.
Childish Gambino is correct. Still love that album.
Yes.
I always say I'm not going to listen to the last song because it's 10 minutes long and it ends in like a monologue. And then I always listen to the last song.
It's just the story of him at camp. Like it literally is.
All right. Question 19. This is a find the connection round. So I'm going to give you 4 words and then I need you to find the word that they all have in common.
Okay.
The words are opening, devise, egg, and cross.
Yeah, I think a couple of things we were discussing. I said chess, but for openings and cross, but I don't think that the other 2 fit. Egg is a term in Twitter for a person with no profile, and
Is it?
Egg is a term in Magic for a 0-cost spell.
All right. Get out of here, nerd.
I'm sticking on egg.
Oh, maybe Easter. You got egg, you got cross. I don't know.
I'm good with that. That's
Gotta
two.
watch out for that Easter
'Cause
devise.
the tomb opens on Easter, so
Yeah. Well, it's my Starbucks is open on Easter, so
yeah.
that's a thing. So yeah, we'll say Easter.
Untitled coffee chain, Matt.
Oh, that's right. Excuse me.
All right. The only thing we could get to was Devil, and I don't know what the Devil's opening is, but Neal found it quite funny. So we're saying Devil.
Well, I think we all know what the devil's opening is, but the answer I was looking for was hatch.
Hatch.
An opening can be a hatch. You can hatch a plan. Eggs hatch, and cross hatch is a term in illustration.
Good one.
So I have a question. The devil's opening, is that next to the devil's doorbell?
Well, that depends on what you think the devil's doorbell is.
Oh, I know what that is.
Can somebody please explain to me the Devil's doorbell?
I think a lot of men need help explain what the devil's doorbell is.
So with a mommy devil and a daddy devil.
Next question, please. Quickly.
All right. Question number 20, last of round 2. Category is Look at His Face. In the episode of The Office Welcome Party, where Stanley comes back from the hospital, the staff writes Stanley a welcome back card that says he got a mustache-ectomy. Does Stanley have a mustache?
Okay, we're locked in.
So I remember the episode, and they had a picture of him, and they drew a mustache, and they would put it up and take it away, and they couldn't decide which one looked right. And now I can't decide which one looks right in my head. Are you an Office person, Melly?
I've never seen an episode.
Okay. It's the show that I fall asleep to, so I've seen every 8 minutes of every episode 300 times.
So one would think you got this.
Yeah. I think he does have a mustache. I'm going to say yes on the mustache.
Yes, he has a mustache.
Yes, Stanley does have a mustache.
After regulation, the scores are very, very close now, which is going to make the final round even more important. With 165 points are Pokemon Van Gogh, and with 170 points is the King's Gambit.
Tight
So, Connell, what are those
Right.
5 categories that our players can wager on today?
All right, our final 5 categories are in the area of Magic the Gathering.
Let's get out of here.
Category 1 is forest. Category 2 is island. Category 3 is mountain. Category 4 is plain. And category 5 is swamp.
Okay, the wagers are locked in, and both teams have decided to go for it, and all the points are on the board.
I think
30
we would
for
like
each
to
question.
revel in riches. That's a magic card.
Oh, and we're just hoping that the swamp question is about Shrek. Please tell us the questions for the final.
All right. Category is forest. The question is, Tom Hanks's first wife was on an episode of the same TV show where he met his current wife. What was that show? Category 2, island. The Clifford the Big Red Dog series is about a giant red dog and his best friend, Emily Elizabeth. The pair live on a fictional island based on where the author, Norman Bridwell, actually lived. He may or may not have bumped into a Kennedy or two. What is the name of the real island? Category 3, mountain. Coors Light cans turn blue when they're cold, with their slogan boasting, "As cold as the Rockies." The mountain featured on the can is Wilson Peak in Colorado. What is Colorado's state nickname? Category 4, plain. Humanity has always been fascinated by flight and money. So of course we would find a way to combine the two. What kingly airline is the oldest in the world? And category 5, swamp. What was the first ever winner of the best animated film category?
All right, while these players get a chance to discuss their answers, we'll be right back. But before I throw it to them, just want to say thank you to Connell and Melly for being Patreon supporters. If you'd like to join them, you can go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast, where you can get over 30 hours of extra audio content, as well as some great perks like stickers, posters, and curated boxes. So if you'd like to join them and help support our show, it's been so great these past 6-7 months, and it's been super helpful. So if you'd like to join them, you can go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast.
All the answers are now locked in, so let's get the questions one more time, see how we did.
All right. Question 1, category forest. Tom Hanks's first wife was on an episode of the same TV show where he met his current wife. What was that show?
Yeah, this one we just have no idea, so we're just throwing a guess out there and saying Happy Days for 30 points.
It's surprising because it's based on you guys, but I'll throw it to Matt.
That's so funny because we're also hoping that these Happy Days are yours and mine because we also guessed Happy Days.
Oh, I was thinking it would be about you and Ken, Jeff. I think it's Bosom Buddies.
Bosom Buddies is the correct answer.
Oh, man, I said Bosom Buddies.
It was a show I had never heard of until writing this question. All right. Question 2, category was island. The Clifford the Big Red Dog series is about a giant red dog and his best friend, Emily Elizabeth. The pair live on a fictional island based on where author Norman Bridwell actually lived. He may or may not have bumped into a Kennedy or two. What is the name of the real island?
Okay, I believe we've previously established that Clifford was red because of all the blood on his white fur from his victims, right?
That's right, yeah.
Jeff had an answer for this one.
Yeah, Kennedys are famously like a big Massachusetts family, and one of the places that wealthy Massachusetts people tend to go is Martha's Vineyard, so that's what we guessed.
And we decided to go with Cape Cod, which is not an island now that I think about it.
Melly, you're right about that. So the answer is Martha's Vineyard, and it is my home. So I always try and include one Martha's Vineyard question in every quiz I write.
That would have been very useful information 15 minutes ago.
That's exactly why I didn't say anything. Category 3, mountain. Coors Light cans turn blue when they're cold, with their slogan boasting, "As cold as the Rockies." The mountain featured on the can is Wilson Peak in Colorado. What is Colorado's state nickname?
We weren't super sure on this one, but for another 30 points, we just guessed Rocky Mountain State.
Yeah, for my birthday, I was riding that silver bullet all the way to the Centennial State.
Centennial State is correct. And I got to give a shout out to my grandma for that one, because for about 10 years, whenever we would talk on the phone, she would always start the conversation off with, "Guess which state nickname I'm in right now." I think I got maybe one right ever. Category 4, plane. Humanity has always been fascinated by flight and money. So, of course, we would find a way to combine the two. What kingly airline is the oldest in the world?
Take a guess.
Yeah, for 30 points, we didn't know. We named a lot of airlines, but we couldn't think of one that had a kingly sounding name. We guessed maybe this was KLM.
Oh, well, you worked your way into that one because we're pretty sure it's KLM.
KLM is correct.
We're getting a lot of lucky guesses.
Literally stands for king. So the K is it means kingly. It goes for the government runs it.
Nice.
That is a better explanation than any I could have given, so thank you.
I'll be.
I will chime in here real quick, just for a little spoiler. The scores are basically exactly the same now because all of their answers have washed out up until this point. So
So we're up by 5.
You're up by 5. So
it all comes down to the swamp question.
All right.
Who's going to get it right?
With a white chest, I have to say, category 5, swamp. What was the first ever winner of the category Best Animated Film?
Gotta go with Shrek.
We'd be such a loser if we didn't get this one.
Yeah.
Shrek.
Shrek, our beloved Shrek, is correct.
Shrek is life.
Shrek is love.
Well, as we said, it all came down to that last question, and the scores, as far as wagering is concerned, didn't change. So the final scores are 195 for Pokemon Van Gogh, and with 200 points, today's cream of the crop, the King's Gambit.
Remaster crap.
Well played, guys. Very close.
Good job,
game.
everybody.
Well, I forgot to add my 10 extra bonus birthday points.
All right,
actually,
give him the
so-
bonus points for his birthday. 10 bonus points. You guys are the cream of the crop.
Remaster crap.
Hey.
Yeah, well, thank you, Matt, for sharing your birth with us and giving those extra points.
I could have gone without all the birth photos, though.
Well, it's important that when you lose, you just keep asking for the points to change until you win. That's usually how that works, right?
Yeah.
You know what? Let this not be a precedent, okay?
Well, thank you guys for that great game that I got to witness here. But Melly, thank you very much for joining us, especially all the way from the Netherlands, our home away from home. Any last words that you'd like to shout out?
The only thing I can think of is mask up.
Mask up, everybody stay safe.
Yes, thank you for saying that and for supporting us on Patreon as well. We appreciate it. And for staying up late as well.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Of course. And Connell, thank you very much for hosting this game. The questions were really well written. We loved having you.
These were great.
Any last words from you?
It's been a pleasure. I really appreciate you guys having me. I want to throw a few shout outs to the crop right now. Some guys took a look at my trivia. Elliot, George, Louis, Matt, Nathan, and Steven. I want to say thank you to my friends who played the game in my Millennium Friends group. And thank you to my girlfriend, Jenny, who introduced me to this podcast before we started dating. So,
Yay.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you to Jenny for starting it all. So we'll have to have her on very soon. We hope you heal up fast. And thank you all for joining us for Connell, Melly, Matt, Jeff, and Ken. My name is Neal, and that was Triviality.
I don't know about Devil's Opening, but Devil's...
You know all about the Devil's Opening, Neal.